I'm actually on my YouTube channel, The Disciple Critic. Um, so I'm going to go through some things. You can go to the Disciple Critic YouTube channel to see what I'm going to be posting. I have a lawsuit that I won, an injunction that I won against a hate group a few years ago. But I wanna kind of do a disclaimer because these people are affecting a lot of family members, including my own children. So I want to basically give everybody in the channel a brief history of what I'm all about, what I believe in, and some things that I've gone through in the past 3 or 4 years. Some really, really good, and some extremely hellish bad. Um, but it all starts here. So back in 2006, 2013, 2014, I was in a relationship with my kid's mother, and some decisions were being made, and we had to split. Um, there was no domestic issue with my children's mother at all. She tried to use that excuse as a weaponization in the court, and the times and dates just didn't add up, and the judge didn't buy it. So it kind of ended right during the parenting plan that went into effect early 2016. But I want to get to that. And then these guys. There's something like in my ear, I'm sorry. I painted today, so I got like paint everywhere. Anyways, back in 2016, me and the children, I only had them on the weekends. I believe it was Saturday into Monday morning, and the exchanges happened at the police department in New Hampshire. So during the full hearing, the final hearing, I think the date of the hearing is on this page actually. Let me see if it's docket number blah 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 blah. Wait a minute, Southern District. So that was the lawsuit was April 27, 2016. Right? Hearing Mr. Phillips allegation against the defendants became clearer. So I have this on my YouTube channel. You can actually see what I'm reading, but I'm seeing if the date. Okay, on or about March 28th, 2016. Okay. Okay. So it must have been like between March, right before March, I think. The final hearing was. Anyways, let me get to it. So DCYF was involved. I'm going to name some public officials that I think they need to be addressed here in New Hampshire. So there was um, a GAL in New Hampshire that's a guardian ad litem that speaks on behalf of the children. Well, sometimes you get one that tends to swing towards one of the parents. Um, and usually it's the parent that talks the most and whoever pays. So if one doesn't pay and the other one pays, she investigated one party and not the other. So she actually made that clear in court. Tracy Shepard did that she wasn't gonna investigate the other parent. She just investigated me, which just was horrible. Her pre-notion, preconception, and things she made up in court was just absolutely horrible. I couldn't believe it. Um, but I ended up having them during the weekends anyway. So DCYF, I believe it was Maureen Shippey from the Department of Children's Services, or CPS. They call them a CPSW here in New Hampshire, and they both basically testified that there was no drug use and abuse. I'm not here at all whatsoever to shame the mother or to disparage her at all. I'm just going to state some facts and be vague about it because, people struggle, they have struggles, and even today I'm rooting for their mother. Um, I'm rooting for her very, very hard. So I still care about my child's mother, so I'm not here to shame or disparage her in any means, way, shape, or form. But there was a car crash with some drugs involved. and I ended up getting the kids in August of 2016. So there was an emergency hearing. I went to the hearing and I ended up getting the kids full time with sole decision making and sole residential responsibility, they call it here. They don't call it custody here in New Hampshire. Um, in other states they do, but basically I had custody. Um, so that's basically it. But one of the hearings, this hate group, I have to give you a background, okay? Real quick. I'll try to be quick. There's this group, hate group, that goes after a group of libertarians that I can't stand them either. I actually been one of the biggest critics in the world, actually more than them. Um, and they went to my hearing. Like 13 of them showed up at my kids' hearing. I'm not sure if my kid's mother brought them there, but it seems to me that past people that have a gripe attach themselves to the group, and they use the group as kind of a weaponization to attack, harass, stalk, and shame, and say libel and really, really ridiculous things. Like fairly recently, it was taken down, but they said I need to pay child support for my other 3 children. They think I have like 13 kids. I think it's up to 13. I'm not sure, but it's ridiculous. And there's people on the page that say they know me, and I've never met them in my life. And there's fake accounts, multiple fake accounts on this page. They're just absolutely ridiculous. So if you go to the Disciple Critic, I'm going to post this video. I'm live right now on my software. It doesn't go live. I have to actually download it. On Facebook, it's live, but you can see the lawsuit. They all came to the family court hearing, and there was a portion of the hearing that was closed and sealed by the judge. He actually made everybody leave the courtroom and close the doors only to the people that were a party in the case, right? So they left, and that portion of the hearing was closed. And there was a lot of things on both me and my kid's mom. The testimony was diagnosis history, pills, medications, and a lot of medical history and mental health history for me, the children, her, all that, right? That's why he sealed it, because there was a lot of protected information that's not public. So he made everybody leave, and even on court record it says he sealed that portion of the hearing. Well, I'm going to scroll down here. If you go to the Disciple Critic later, you'll see the receipt of one of the members of this hate group, right? They went and asked the court for the CD transcript of the whole entire hearing. And the court gave it to them, even the sealed portion. So these idiots took a CD that literally says this court hearing sealed and this portion shall be sealed and maintained as private on the CD. They posted it on YouTube and posted it on their page. So me, the kids, mental health history, HIPAA was violated, the whole bit. So I filed an injunction, and they switched it to Hillsborough South. I guess there was some type of conflict because I had an 8th District Court Keene listed as a defendant, as a tort claim against him. She enjoined them. It was first dismissed, and then later another judge granted my motion for an injunction, because I think they thought I was just going after them because of the results of the hearing, but I wasn't. I was going after them because the court gave private information to a hate group that ended up posting all me and the children's stuff. I don't even know why they were at the children's hearing anyway. It's none of their freaking business. These pieces of POS people just like to do this. So I have the last page, and it granted. You can read it on the Disciple Critic YouTube page. Here's one of my cards right here. It says the Disciple Critic. Okay. You can go to the YouTube page. It used to be New England Cop Chasers. Before that, it was Northeast Cop Block, copblock.org. I've been basically going after police with a camera for over a decade. I was actually one of the first to do it. I was doing it before all these auditors and stuff like that, and I had a really, really good following. But I only went after the bullies. Like, I didn't antagonize them. I only was mouthy to the ones that are mouthy. So I just returned the same behavior they were giving me. The ones that talked to me really nice, I had really, really good conversations with them, and I actually like a few. I like a few police officers, so I'm not like a hater. I think a lot of things need to change in their training and the way they treat people. I think they're heading that way in Keene because the new guys that I met, I've had really, really good interactions with every single new guy that I saw. So I had the kids all the way up to, it's weird. I went August of 2016 to August 9th of 2023. And that leads me to um, the next thing. So I'm going to keep the page up and just explain a little bit about what happened. So I was in a relationship. It was somewhat abusive. I was verbally attacked almost on a daily basis, and she pressed my buttons. Purposely did it. I think there was a lot of narcissistic behavior and gaslighting, and my children witnessed all of it. They know I lack the ability to get angry enough to actually physically hurt somebody. And she got hurt. She got hurt a couple times, and I got in trouble for it. And I paid the ultimate price. But I never, ever, 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 out of anger, hit a woman. I'm just gonna say that right now. Because I pled guilty, I can't go back on that. But it was my fault she was here. It was my fault that I allowed the behavior, and I was rooting for her, and I basically filed some stuff to get her help, and she saw it, and I think she jumped the gun and weaponized the whole entire system. And regardless, I am guilty of some things, and some things I think were very, very one-sided. I think the whole thing was extremely biased. I really do. I think a lot of times some people use the system and play victim when they're trying to overcome and take power over a situation to control and to do all that stuff with, domestic violence petitions and restraining orders and stalking petitions and all that stuff. But because I've been chasing cops for over 13, 14, something 15 years, on this page, on the Disciple Critic channel, you can go all the way back. I got like almost 600 videos. Um, I got over, I think, 2 million views overall, something like that. For a small page, that's actually pretty big. And I was doing really, really good in 2016, 17, and 18 until I like took control and started being a full-time father. And then the channel got lost because of some type of authentication thing with the phone. And I wasn't active at all for like 3 years. And I actually got control over the YouTube channel. I have a video on how I did that, and it was weird how that happened. But anyways, um, this group has been attacking me, following me. I have proof that they followed me and the kids to school. They're actually talking about like seeing my address and when I leave. And unfortunately, one of the biggest mouths on the page, her son, lives next door. And he relays information to her, and then she posts it. Oh, he's leaving today. Oh, two people showed up at his house. I think DCYF is taking his kids. Blah 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 blah. I'll be honest, I'm gonna release this information to my fans, people, and friends. Okay, my kids have an extremely big support system. We have a lot of people involved in their care. We're part of a mental health agency, and both of my children have case managers that come like twice a week. There's in-home support for my son twice a week, and we have like wraparound connected families once a week. And another case manager comes. There's a GAL involved that likes to talk to the children. She doesn't talk to me and the mom hardly. She wants to talk to the kids and gets all her information from the children. and the children's providers. I have full custody back of the children. They're here safe because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do vapes, nothing. I'm not okay. Don't get me wrong. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean I'm, you know, judging anybody that does. Okay, I've helped a ton of people. I've bailed people out. I've fed homeless. Gave people tents that are sleeping in tent cities. Fairly recently, I tried to help them the best way I can with supplies, food, water. I've been doing it literally since the age of 14. I've been taking care of people in need. I just have a heart for it. There's some people I don't like. I don't like people that have a lot of anger. I understand why they have a lot of anger, but they don't need to portray it and perpetuate it to other people. And though, I kind of, my BS meter goes up when somebody's yapping their mouth, and I want to, you know, get a little frustrated with them. But the end of the day, I just love people. I want to hear their stories. I want to hear their likes and dislikes. I just enjoy hearing people's road to life. There's a couple people I follow on my friends list on a daily basis. Is Angela, and there's a female that I watch every other day that pops on. I think she's from Franklin, New Hampshire. I really enjoy her candor and how she responds to things. I don't post things live hardly, but I wanted to cover this as kind of like a disclaimer. Um, so in August 9th, the relationship I was in, even though there was a restraining order, she was coming to the house. And she was like blowing me up on a daily basis. So I made the mistake and violated a restraining order, and she came here wanting me to take a ride with her. I'm not sure, like, if I got set up or like it was just strange how it went down. But I got in her car. We had a really good conversation. She came here. She left months prior. Um, and there was a restraining order in place. So I got in her car, which was stupid, the stupidest thing I ever did in my life. And she was upset. So she started doing like 80 miles an hour and got pulled over in Nelson, New Hampshire, which is like, 30 minutes the other direction. And she was supposed to just go around the block and bring me back. Well, I got arrested. She got pulled over. And the guy said my name before he even got to the window. So I'm thinking he was called beforehand. And I totally got wrapped up. So they came here. They found, you know, something that really didn't belong to me, and I got charged with a felony, and I was in 9 months and the state prison for 3, and then the board let me out, and I got out, got full custody back in July, because of some decisions, and you know there's some medical things going on with the other parent, and I'm very concerned. I want to pray really hard for her. Like, I'm rooting for her so much, you have no idea. I just have so much love and ingenuity. I even enjoy her boyfriend. He's been in trouble, but I kind of like the kid. I really do. Um, so I'm rooting for them both, and I hope they get everything straightened out. And I don't want to release any medical things that's not me. I don't think it's appropriate for me to release medical things, but there is something going on that she needs prayer for, and just keep her in your thoughts and the kids in your thoughts with that situation. But the reason why I'm making this video is because these people post shit, a lot of false stuff. Oh, he needs to pay child support for his other 3 kids. I don't know where that comes from, because the other 3 are like in their 30s. All of them are adults except for the 12 and 13-year-old I have here full time. So I don't know how am I going to pay for a 34, 35-year-old, child support. Just stupidity. Um, and they come up with this false thing that I was impersonating stuff. I'm going to be honest. My name is very popular. I looked it up. There's like 120,000 of them. I actually Googled my name. I'm a freaking dickhead. I'm a sex offender in Texas, serving 25 years in prison. I'm on the run in California. There's another one that's a really popular doctor out of New York. Um, there's even one that's part of a cartel, a Sinaloa cartel that lives in Juarez, Mexico, that's running from the FBI. There's another one in Florida that like tried to steal a tank, and he's in prison. There's a couple in Canada are in trouble. I like almost every single one of my names is like a jerk, you know. So there's there's a lot of them. So they end up posting stuff that's not even me, especially this thing that comes from Vermont. I never lived in Vermont, and they're saying that I lived there for like 2 or 3 years, and some dude got in trouble for OSHA or something. We're like, I think there's a 9 year difference between his age and mine. So I don't understand. I'm 51, and this dude's like something like just turned 40 or something, and he got in a lot of trouble over there. It's weird because my mom used to own 3 houses there in the 80s, and she sold them I think in 1989. So I'm actually familiar with that area, but I never like lived there. Lived there. Um, I'll be honest. I'm gonna open it up to you. I was born in Taunton, Mass. I lived in Hyde Park, Boston. I lived in Brockton. There was a lot of substance abuse and domestic violence in my family. It was very chaotic. And my mom went away, not jail, but she went away. I'm not going to release that information because it's hers. I'll just keep that private. But she had some issues that she had to work on, and she went away for a while, off and on, throughout the 80s and 90s. So I was bouncing around through families. So I lived in Fall River, Mass, High Park, Boston. Um, Went over to Brooklyn, New York during the summers. Um, in like around Bay Ridge area, and then came back to the Boston area. Lived in Taunton. I went to school in North Attleboro, Mass, for 2 years. I actually no. My freshman year, I went to Tri County Vocational School in Franklin, Mass, but I lived in North Attleboro. It's a regional school for vocation. I got in trouble. Um, I got in trouble there, and I got kicked out because I had naughty magazines that I bought off of a kid, and I got expelled. So I had to start going to North Attleboro High School. So I was there my freshman and sophomore year, and believe it or not, I actually lived with a Christian family in Ware, New Hampshire. I forgot the name of that school. I don't remember the high school in Ware. I was there for 6.5 months, um, and then moved to Loudon with my girlfriend Harmony. I lived in Loudon and started going to another school, Merrimack Valley. Yeah, I went to Merrimack Valley as a junior, and then I went way. Something went wrong. I was a jerk, and I lost that relationship because I was mentally like not okay. Wasn't ready for a relationship at 18. I was into God. I did Christian rap music with a group back then. So I was like kind of like had like a Christian ego, which is going on now. And I'll talk about that in different videos. But I went there, went back to Somerset, which is Somerset, Mass. Is next to Fall River, Massachusetts. It's southeastern Mass. It's very close to Rhode Island. So I finished high school there. So I went to like 5 different high schools. So, oh, he goes to this high school. He's not from there. Oh, they don't know my family dynamic, right? So I want to break out all this information so people know, and then if like they come across one of these idiots, they you know that you know the truth instead of like following what the hell they have to say. My father passed away in 1986 from multiple sclerosis. Complications of he had a very very bad lifestyle. I loved my dad. Um, I have friends on this page that remember him. And I want to say what's up, Michelle, Marlene, especially Sandra, all my cousins. I love all of you, and miss you too, Tommy. You're my brother. He's the one that gave me that thing over there. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see